Hello and welcome to this Big Fight special. The long-awaited Jammu and Kashmir Assembly elections are finally here. The poll campaigning has reached a pitch and it is being seen as a big celebration of the democratic exercise. Remember, for the last 10 years, there has been no election in the valley. This is for the first time, post-abrogation of Article 370, that an assembly election will be held. With me is my colleague Nazir. Nazir, the significance of this poll?
Well, it is very significant, more than one ways. It is the first election in the history of Jammu and Kashmir which is being contested in the Union territory. And it is the first election where people also will decide whether they are happy with the Naya Kashmir or they want to live in the old Kashmir.
So in this Naya Kashmir, we are coming to you from the beautiful and majestic Dal Lake. With me, someone we have been seeing regularly in Delhi, Shazia Ilmi. Welcome to Srinagar. BJP spokesperson coming all the way from Srinagar. We have Mohit Ban, spokesperson of the PDP. We have, strategically placed the two former allies together. And on this side are the present alliance partners, Ifra Jan of the National Conference and Salman Soz of the Congress Party. Beginning with you, Salman. It's an alliance which has taken shape, worked out completely. And everything is, it seems that everything has been discussed completely. But when it comes to what is it that you're offering to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, which will be completely new, not what we had seen or heard before the abrogation of Article 370?
Thank you, Maria, for having me. This election is, of course, a monumental election. But this is an election where the people are going to speak. And they're going to speak loudly. They're going to speak about the misrule, about the indignities that the BJP has heaped on the people of Jammu and Kashmir. The only state to be dismembered and demoted to Union Territory status. The only state where such large-scale disempowerment of people happened by a dispensation in Delhi, which is now ruling this part of the country through an unelected person, the lieutenant governor. So I think the people and what has happened during this time is that there's large-scale misery in all parts of Jammu and Kashmir, and there's large-scale resentment against the BJP because of what they've done to this place. Okay. Second highest unemployment rate in the country. The highest unemployment rate for women is in Jammu and Kashmir. Industrial production has grown basically stagnant, 1% over the last 5 years. People employed in industries down 16%. Insecurity about land, insecurity about government jobs. You know that 65,000 government posts remain vacant since 2019. So let me just say what.
Let's get a word from Shazia as well.
Okay.
Shazia, BJP has been talking about that this is the era of development, peace in Jammu and Kashmir, and this is all about this lieutenant governor's rule duty. And you are going to restore the statehood after election, that's what the Prime Minister said. But looking back, when we see all these years, this is the longest time of gap between two elections. Why BJP failed to hold elections in time since 2018? And then what Salman has asked.
So first of all, let me make it amply clear that I represent the average citizen of Jammu and Kashmir, and we have 3 representatives from 3 political families who are responsible for the misrule and the way things have gone on in the valley. So I'm very proud to be part of the setup which has ensured not just Ayushman cards, which is looking at 85 lakhs of them in just Jammu and Kashmir, but also basic safety. Whether you look at terrorism, which is down by 70%, or stone pelting, or which is done away with. So this is the new mustaqbil or the future we're looking at. And this is the true azadi that Kashmiris are feeling for the first time, Jammu and Kashmir. As for my friend Salman, who talks about it being unconstitutional or not representative of people, you know, the Supreme Court has put a stamp on it. As far as the governor's rule is concerned, you know, Kashmir and the state erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir has seen a governor's rule 3 times that of this particular rule for the last 5 years. As far as elections are concerned, we've had the Zilla elections, DDC elections and the Lok Sabha elections. And you see the abject failure of these 3 parties when the leaders of their parties have failed and rejected by the Kashmiri citizens. Why did Mehbooba lose? Why did Umar Abdullah lose? Why does Umar Abdullah have to go out taking off his hat and begging for his honor? And why does he have to go from one place to the other? In fact, very important questions that I need to ask Salman Sozji is that what kind of a alliance is this? Because this is the biggest discord. We know starting from 52, the Delhi agreement between Sheikh Abdullah and Nehru, to going to 1975 between Indira Gandhi and Sheikh Abdullah and Farooq Abdullah and Rajiv Gandhi, the famous one in 87 rather, which led to militancy. What kind of accord is this where Congress party has to answer not just to Jammu and Kashmir but to Maharashtra and Haryana and everywhere in India as to where it stands on the constitution, on reservation, on national flag? So I think that, while I speak against all of you, all the 3 representatives, but these are the 3 families which have ruined the future, the present, and the past is for everybody to see.
A quick word from you before I bring in others.
First of all, I would not ever dream of representing the people of the state that Shazia comes from, so I'm not sure how she represents the average Jammu and Kashmiri out here. Let me just say, this looks like the BJP's. This is exactly
whichever state they come from.
Listen to me. This is exactly the mentality of the BJP. Shazia, let me finish.
Forget about that.
Shazia,
I speak as an Indian
this
citizen,
is not Arnab
and
Goswami's
every Indian
show.
should talk about every
Shazia,
state of India, including Jammu and Kashmir.
Again, when I actually let me just finish. I'm not going to interrupt you, Shazia. The rules of the game should be I don't interrupt you, you don't interrupt me.
Go ahead. Yes.
This is exactly the mentality of the BJP. They think sitting in New Delhi, because they have a government there, they can basically control whatever happens here. You know, let me tell Shazia that the BJP has basically prohibited sand mining for locals in lots of places. Jahan pe Jammu Kashmir ke log, and she only talked about people of Kashmir. This is about Jammu and Kashmir. And Jammu and Kashmir people hate BJP right now. Why? Things like contracts are given to outsiders mostly. JNK people are shut out. By the way, जिस जगह पे आपको रेत पे हक नहीं है, आपको अपनी रेत पे हक नहीं है, आप क्या हक दिलाएंगे आपको?
One important issue which has become the resources of locals. The contracts have been given to the non-locals. Jobs has remained a challenge because there have been civil scams, but government has ordered inquiry, CBI's inquiry.
You know, if you look at tourism, it's a record number. We're looking at 25 lakhs. No, calm down. So first of all, I want to say that as a citizen of this country, I can speak for every citizen of my country, whether it's my brothers and sisters in Jammu or my brethren in Kashmir. Irrespective of the fact about what my antecedents are or lineages, which I don't want to bring up because I speak as a pure Indian, and I speak on Indian territory, very proud of it, and I will speak for Jammu and Kashmir as much as I will speak for UP and Bihar. That's one. And two, Nazir, Bhai, I would like to say that in terms of what the locals are feeling, because it was just Bandh, this was Hartal time, it was just end of everything. For the first time, it's flourishing. The hotels are full, the taxi walas, you just see all around. There is actually, progress, there is actual financial transactions, there is money flow. Wow. So I think it's huge. Okay, I think it's huge, so and everybody knows that.
You have painted a picture which is really beautiful. Yes. But why is the opposition of the opinion?
I'm not painting any picture which is beautiful. I think a lot needs to be done.
Yes.
Maria, a lot needs to be done. But I'm just saying that compared to what we were going through.
One moment. Let me bring in Ifra. Ifra, the question is that if the BJP says that they represent the ordinary, the man on the street, then is it also not true that there are the three parties which have ruled Jammu and Kashmir, largely, the National Conference and the PDP, they are dynastic parties?
Let's go one by one, Maria. And I have not interrupted anybody. I would not like anyone to interrupt me. First thing Shazia ji said she sees that the hotels are full and there's so much tourism. If you just took a shot of Dal Lake behind me, there's not even a single shikara in Dal Lake. This is the kind of tourism we see in Jammu and Kashmir. This is the time when shikaras, we can't have one person talking,
Okay,
Maria.
no, she's speaking. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
There's not a single tourist here because in Kashmir, especially after the Amarnath Yatra starts, the government of India, it blocks all the roads in Pahalgam, Gulmarg, and it essentially chokes tourism. Tourism in Kashmir is only 4 months thanks to the misgovernance of the BJP government. Look at, there is not a single shikara. This is what happens when you take on yourself the banter of representing a population which you do not understand and where you don't even have the eye to what to look for. Thankfully, Maria ji, we live in a country, in a democracy, where the only people who can claim to represent a population are people who've been chosen by those people. Thankfully, we're not in North Korea where somebody comes in and says, I am the representative of this entire place and I will tell you how happy the people in North Korea are. Maria, this time, Shazia ji represents a political party that ensured no elections were held in Jammu and Kashmir and ensured that no elected representatives were allowed to speak on their behalf. And only after the Supreme Court stepped in with its order where it said that no, you have to conduct elections,
Okay,
you
so
have
but
to
we
have
to
elected
discuss
representatives.
What are the issues on which the people of Jammu and Kashmir are voting?
Okay, well,
For that,
I will
let's
go to
bring in the
Mohit
PDP
Ban of the
representative.
PDP. Mohit ji, PDP, NC Congress has alliance, BJP is not with you. You are actually fighting with all the three parties. So what this election stands for you when we know, PDP, which was literally dismantled because it lost most of its leaders. Now, when you are fighting this election, there are again challenges. What are the issues you are fighting this election?
Narisa, first of all, everybody is going, gaga about the elections happening. I think this is the most unfortunate thing in a democratic setup that elections are happening after 10 years. I think it's the most heinous or the most shameful act one has ever seen in the history of independent India. So there is nothing to brag about it by any of us or maybe anybody from the media or anybody about that the elections are being conducted. The second thing you talked about are the challenges, how PDP is going into the elections. I think it's a known fact that anybody who has been boldly advocating the aspirations or the voice of common Kashmiris have always had differences with Delhi, and Delhi has come down heavily on it. And post the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, we have seen that how almost 44 elected former MLAs or ministers were arm twisted to leave PDP. And we had to build everything scratch from the scratch, brick by brick. And I think we went into the parliament elections also alone. Shazia ji did highlight that why Mehbooba ji lost. At least she had the courage to go back to people and ask for the votes. Winning and losing is part of the elections. Even after, bragging so much about Jammu and Kashmir and 370 and 35A, BJP couldn't muster the courage to field a single candidate in entire Kashmir Valley in three of its seats.
Yes, that's the question that I want to ask you actually, Shazia.
Should you not give the credit to the BJP central government for one thing? You are a Kashmiri Pandit. You are, campaigning, rather in charge of the campaign for the PDP candidate Wahid Para in Pulwama. The Pulwama, which was infamous for militancy, terror attacks. Now, situation has changed to a great extent. Will you not give that credit to BJP? We can say this democracy was denied, that was in a suspended animation. There are other issues of employment, resource, etc. But on security, will you not give that credit to BJP?
See, Nazir, to be very honest, I left a flourishing career in corporate industry in 2018 and moved back to Kashmir. Way back, BJP had even dreamt of anything in Kashmir. So I think the credit goes to the leadership and the people of Jammu and Kashmir for accepting me in a position where I was, given the responsibility to manage a lot of things in PDP.
You know, the elections not happening. Did you know that as much as we've had the governor's rule at this time, if you look at Jagmohan time and other times, there were 3 times as much of no government here. And this was imposed so many times by Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi, and somehow they're quiet about it. And not just that, IFRA very proudly talked about we represent Kashmir. So what happens to representation of Valmikis? Whose children were not allowed to study or get jobs? What happens to that? What happens to Bakarwals? No. Let me make this point. Does she represent the Bakarwals? Does she ever look at what they go through? Or even the women who married outside the religion? And here Rahul Gandhi goes all over and talks about Arakshan. But there in Jammu and Kashmir UT, you want to remove Arakshan because you want to bring in. And I also want to ask Salman Sood, who's very keen to speak and who's very enthusiastic. Salman ji, I want to ask you, where do you stand with your alliance partner on the national flag on the constitution? Because clearly, for the first time, I want to tell everybody, and I think everybody knows, that the elections here are being held under the Indian constitution, not the J&K special constitution. So what do you feel about the constitution? And also what do you feel about reservation, which you're actually taking away from the Pahadis, from the Gorkhas, from the Bakarwals and other communities, and giving dignity to Valmiki brothers of mine and the refugees of West Pakistan.
Let me also fact check.
One thing, Salman. Elections in Jammu and Kashmir were always happening under the Indian constitution since 1965.
Kashmir की बात कर रही हूँ ना?
Jammu and Kashmir. Election Commission of India was conducting these elections, not the state's own election body. Number 2, this is the second longest governor's rule, central rule in Jammu and Kashmir.
Which is the first longest, Nazir? Since you know so much, which is the first longest?
First was the since January 1990 to September 2096.
Nazir, what do you owe it to? You're an expert. What do you owe the longest governor's rule?
I'm saying, this was all since June 2018 till this time, till the new government comes.
But I think what you should also say is that when the first time this happened in the 90s, there was a massive insurgency at that time. Massive. This time, nothing like that. And by the way, on security, let me tell you, Maria, maybe your viewers don't know because BJP lies so much. The lowest number of terror incidents and killings in the last 30 years happened in 2012. This is Home Ministry data, 2012. Ab 2012 mein kaun sa ye aapko Article 370 ka problem tha?
Okay, let's get into specifics about the alliance. Is there proper understanding on the issues of reservation and other concerns, which remain the teething issues?
You see, first things first, National Conference stands for what we have put in our manifesto, and after, Umar Saab has also said, after the government is formed, we will have a minimum program that all of you will see. But I would want to answer what Shazia ji has asked. She said, we represent the women, we represent the Valmikis, we represent the Gujjars, we represent the Bakarwals. If you represented so many communities, why were you so scared of conducting an election? Why did you not field a single candidate? Now let's talk about women. At this point, when in Jammu and Kashmir, the unemployment rate of women is 48%, the highest in the country. You know what happened, Maria, when Article 370 was removed or diluted? The first thing that the BJP government did was it abrogated, it also ended. Pata hai kis daftar pe tala laga diya? The first office to be shut down was the Women's Commission office, where all the domestic violence, let me answer, where all the, you let her speak for 5 minutes, give me 2 minutes,
go ahead.
where all the domestic violence victims used to go because they were too scared of going to police stations or did not have the courage to do that. They shut down, they put a lock on the Women's Commissioned office and they've not reinstated that. They said we're doing this we're doing, and then she talked about the Gujjars and the Bakarwals. You know, Maria, what is happening? if you were a Kashmiri and if you truly represented Kashmiris and the Gujars, you would know that this government has carried out extensive demolition drives on the homes of Gujars because they do not have the papers, because that the papers that they ask for. In fact, it was a national conference that stood up and said, अब जो forests हैं हमारे, इसमें हमारे गुजर बकरवाल भाई हजारों सालों से रह रहे हैं, आपको वहां से कोई नहीं निकालेगा. It was a national conference. And the Valmikis, let me come to the Valmikis. You know, Maria ji, you're a journalist and all the viewers are watching. I'm sure you've heard of countless atrocities that happen on Dalits everywhere. Have you ever heard कि कोई दलित हमारा भाई घोड़े पे चल रहा था और उसकी lynching हुई जम्मू कश्मीर में? Have you? Because Dalits in Jammu and Kashmir, look at the HDI data. They are doing the best in terms of the money they have, in terms of the izzat they have.
Okay.
Because
I'll come to you. I'll come to you, Shazia.
Yeah.
I'll come to you, Shazia. Let Mohit speak, and then I'm coming to you.
See, I think we are digressing from the issue. The issue is about the elections and how the BJP on the one hand has been going gaga about the development, but are not able to field their candidates and go out to the constituencies and the local population to seek votes. We see that how they are fetching candidates from here and there just to fulfill the gaps, and also the ABC teams who the teams which were propagated post 2019, how they lost their deposits in the recently concluded parliament election. So I think the Kashmiris or the people of Jammu and Kashmir, why would I only talk about Kashmir? The people of Jammu and Kashmir in a strong voice have said that the policies of BJP or the decisions of 5th August 2019 are not acceptable to them. Wherever they have gotten an opportunity, be it the engineer Shah's election in North Kashmir, or be it the election in Srinagar or the southern Kashmir, people have unitedly voted for a voice against the policies of Jammu and against the policies what have been happening in the last 5 years in J&K. I think again when we go to the assembly elections, people will once again see that who are the parties who have been unitedly fighting or are fighting for the true voice and aspirations of the people in Kashmir.
Shazia,
and
coming
I'm
to
sure
that
they are
point,
going to
that
give their
point, please
answer
pass
very
over
well.
the mic to her. Shazia, the one point which for the last few years the BJP has been saying that in this Naya Kashmir, the aspirations are being realized by the center. Now, if you get a sense, points being made and statistically also being said by Ifra here, that you were trying to give a different picture from what the truth is. So my question is that why did the BJP not field candidates in the valley, in the Lok Sabha polls? Because if you have managed to get the support of the people, even in assembly. Please go ahead.
So, I'll answer that question. So, Ifra just said that there are no atrocities against Dalits. So, does that mean that her party, along with Congress, will take away the reservations which are now, and also reservation of promotion, which has now been given to Dalits? And BJP is a party here that has always needed the help of the either PDP or NC, as is the case with Congress. So you just see us having many more candidates now, and we'll continue to have them, and it will grow. But the very fact that the stone pelting is not there. Terrorism has come down. You can talk about one random example of 2012. As for aspirations, this vote is not for the families of Mehbooba Muftis of the world and Umar Abdullahs of the world or the Gandhi family. This is for an average Jammu family and a Kashmir family.
Okay, so we have really come to the end of this discussion. I'll give 30 seconds to all of you. Please go ahead.
But you can't. The fact of the matter is that they have singularly insulted, demeaned the people of Jammu and Kashmir. When there was no justification, they destroyed our statehood. They've still not restored it. There is no accountability here. People cannot go and voice their grievances to anybody.
That's also because they've taken people of Jammu for granted. After converting a proud Dogra state into a UT, they still believe कि यार ये लोग तो हमको ही वोट देंगे, कहाँ जाएंगे बेचारे. They've taken them so for granted and they've insulted such a proud community. However, I would want to quickly ask 3 points. She said, what is your stand on reservation? National Conference's stand on reservation is that all communities should get reservation in proportion to their population, as has been decided by the Supreme Court of India. All communities must have that. This is a very clear stand on reservation that we have. She said, बारामुल्ला में उमर साहब क्यों हार गए? भाई बारामुल्ला में तो आप लोग भी नहीं जीते, बीजेपी भी नहीं जीती. Why is it that the BJP is gloating over Engineer Rashid's win? Is he your candidate? No, he's not. Apparently, he's not. So why are you so excited and happy about it? Okay. And third, last point. I would want to ask this question to Shazia ji on behalf of Gorkhas, West Pakistan refugees, women, Kashmiri Muslims, Hindus, Dogras, and every person sitting in Jammu and Kashmir right now. Please tell us when. Don't give us a fake promise. When? What is the date when you will restore statehood back to Jammu and Kashmir?
But yes.
See, quickly in 30 seconds, I would want to answer two questions what BJP has been saying. One is about the reservations. She's talking about SC/ST. She should go back and check the data that without any reservation to the STs or the Pahadis, the J&K Assembly had the highest number of SC/STs and Pahadis in the Assembly, because such is the, the environment here that there is no animosity between the cultures, and the Hindu votes for the Pahadi or the Pahadi votes for the Gujar votes for the Bakarwal. So without reservation also there was the adequate number of representation, and the Kashmiris, irrespective of the caste, have voted for these leaders. The second thing she has been talking about is the terrorism and stone pelting. See, I want to make it amply clear, there is difference between law and order and terrorism. Yes, when you say that the stone pelting is down, the stone pelting incidents are down, that is the law and order situation, and I 100% agree, yes, the law and order is in control. But is the situation peaceful? Is it peace? I don't think you won't. If it is peace, you won't see every 20 feet, 30 feet security men guarding the road or the highway or the venues wherever with the election rallies are happening. So the only peace is that the law and order is in control, no doubt, but it is peace. No, the terrorism has shifted from Kashmir Valley to Jammu region. In past 1 year, we have seen more than 60 people have been killed brutally by the terrorists across the Jammu region. And if you think that is bringing peace, I don't think we want that peace anymore. We are very thankful for the peace you have provided till now. Please wrap this peace up now. Thank you.
So, if there's any way turbulence and trauma is clearly with the three families, as you can see, there's a great justification given by both Ifra and Mohit that because there was no problem, we don't need to give a reservation because it was nothing to start with. Because there was political representation, it doesn't matter if ordinary children or Valmikis or
Why do you have
refugees,
to lie on TV,
No, you are
Shazia?
lying.
I
And
very
Ifra has
clearly
totally
said
lied
that
about so
reservation
many
has
factors.
to be in
No, let me
proportion
finish.
to
No,
their
I can
population.
speak now.
Why would you need to lie on
Maria,
television?
let me speak.
Let her finish, yes.
Yes. And I also want to know whether what kind of jobs has National Conference given 500 rupees to every youngster here to throw stones, or jobs of terrorism and jobs to
7%
terrorist children and
unemployment
to
rate
secessionists. I
in
mean, it's a
National
matter of
Conference
shame.
government,
We have
and now
an
30%
we have an
unemployment
IIT,
rate.
and
There
we
is
have
an
IIM
increase of
in the UT
300%.
here. For the very
300%
first time
in unemployment.
We have been exposed.
Thank you so
totally.
much for joining us. And let's try and wrap this up, Nazir. Things have changed in Jammu and Kashmir. There's a lot of, hope also at this point, particularly with this election, because it's about that electoral exercise that we will be seeing play out in 3 phases.
Exactly, and the democracy which was in a suspended animation, finally the day has come when people will vote, decide their new government, revive democracy. That is bigger than who wins or who loses.
On that very note, thanks so much for watching, and thanks to all the panelists who took time to join us.
Thank you for watching.